Hello, welcome to another episode of Web Unpacked. Today I'm joined by Sahil Patel, CEO of Spiralyze, a CRO agency that does something I haven't really seen anybody else actually doing at this scale. What they have done is they have built this database by scraping over 78,000 websites to track what companies are actually A/B testing, what they're shipping, and what they're actually keeping also. So I have had a chance to work with Sahil and his team directly in the past, so I have seen their approach up close. And it is different, I would say. Instead of starting from guesses or best practices, they start from data about what's actually been tested across thousands of sites. So that alone for me changes the whole conversation around optimization. So naturally, I wanted to unpack that and what all the data has taught Sahil about what works, what doesn't, what companies keep getting wrong, and where also CRO as industry is maybe heading. So Sahil, welcome. We'd all have to give a quick intro about yourself and then let's get into it.
Well, thank you, first of all, for having me, Marcus. I think of us as kind of two old friends getting to hang out, so this is a lot of fun.
Exactly. Cool. And maybe quick intro about like yourself and Spiralyze also.
Yeah, happy to do it. So I'm for everyone listening, I'm Sahil. I'm the CEO of Spiralyze. Spiralyze, the place where we help companies, they spend lots of money to get traffic just to come to their website. And that's really hard. It's getting
Yeah.
harder. No
Especially with
click
AI.
search results in the
Yeah.
search engines are cannibalizing traffic. We're not sure exactly how much, but it's happening. Cost per click is going up if you are doing paid search, like a PPC campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once the traffic gets your website, getting it to convert is even harder. Whatever convert means for
That's
you.
the
You
tricky
might
part.
be selling shoes. You might be selling software. You might not be selling anything. You might be doing lead generation. You might, there's all of those are conversions. So it's even harder to get, it's so hard to get the traffic there. It's even harder to get it convert. That last part is where we help companies.
Yeah.
And we do it by crawling the internet and borrowing everyone else's A/B tests. Our customers get to run the best ones.
Pretty clever way, I would say. But as a general for Spiralis, like what makes it usually, like in your opinion, like different from other agencies? Like from your homepage, I think we even say like, basically you're giving a conversion promise that if somebody starts working with Spiralyze, you are basically promising a conversion, which I don't see really often happening, that some agencies are promising something. So what's the take there and how does it change game for our customers?
Well, I think the first thing is the fact that we have this prediction engine.
Yeah.
And it's not just that we crawl the internet and find everyone else's A/B test. That is the starting point. It's that the algorithm is able to predict which tests are most likely to run by finding similar companies. So if someone is a CRM software like you, like where you
Good
work,
example.
do you really care what A/B tests, I don't know, Netflix has run? Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay?
Bit
On
different.
the other hand, if you knew which A/B tests the 10 other CRM companies in your niche have run, that's a good starting point. It's of course not guaranteed to work for you,
Hmm. So,
but
so basically, you're using this system already before your potential customer launches A/B test, so you already kind of have a good feeling where this might go.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And what you're betting on is the portfolio of tests rather than the outcome of any one single test.
Yeah,
And if you run that portfolio, you can, it turns out, predict which tests are going to work and produce lift.
and like, can you like share like what's the success rates of that prediction model?
Yeah. So let's put some context. Industry average, and this is not our data, by the way. This is just multiple companies.
Yeah,
Optimizely, I think, just put this out there. 11% of tests beat the variant. So that means if you run 10 tests, 1 in 10
one.
beats your control. Yeah, I think I said it the other way around. I meant the variant beats the control. So
Yeah,
1 in 10 of tests beat the control. What that means is, by the way, the average company runs about 1 test a month.
so it
So
takes
you
basically
work
1 year to get a winning
1 year, you
test.
get 1 win. I mean, who's excited about that? Who wants to go back to their boss and say, when the boss says, "Hey, how is the CRO program going?" The CEO asks that, "Do you want to tell her?" Yeah, we got 1 win this year. No one wants to sign
Difficult.
up for that. The
Yeah.
second thing is that most websites have a lot of low-hanging fruit because they've never optimized before. We're talking about B2B here. Direct to consumer is a different story. But in B2B, they've never optimized. There's a bunch of low-hanging fruit. And so what often happens is the first few months they get a bunch of wins and everyone is really excited. And then it gets a lot harder. And then that 11% win rate kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
And the CRO program goes from being something that everyone wants to talk about, it's in the board deck, and it's in the marketing readout every month, to just kind of very quietly, because who wants to come back and say, "Hey, guess what? We ran some tests. They all lost." Um, and it turns out if you just copy what your competitor does, there's limited predictive power there, just low.
Yeah.
You test blue button versus red button, low predictive power that any of that works. It might work. By the way, if you want to run the test, by all means, do it. But the predictive power. So let's just that sets the stage. Spiralized tests, where we're running a portfolio of proven winners based on what has worked for companies like you.
Mm-hmm.
34% win rate. So 1 out of 3, 3 times higher.
That's a lot better already.
It is a lot better.
Yeah.
Nothing is guaranteed to work, and you do yourself so many more favors by skipping everyone else's losing test. Let some other poor guy run the losers. Your starting point should be the winners.
Yeah. No, that's a good point.
Okay.
Makes
By the way,
also selling the CRO program in your company so much easier at the end if you manage to bring in more wins.
now, by the way, you don't need to go to Spiralyze to find out the winning tests. There are other places to do it. There are blogs. If anyone here subscribes to Tom Orbach. If you don't, I highly recommend it. But I don't know Tom other than like LinkedIn reading his stuff. Amazing guy, has done a ton of CRO, subscribed to his newsletters. He regularly talks about the tests he's run and which ones work and don't work. So you really don't need Spiralyze to do that. But if you want to run a CRO program, having an endless supply of data, it really helps.
Yeah.
When you have that data, you can predict the lift. When you predict the lift, you can guarantee the lift. So that's the other thing that makes us different, is we have this performance pricing. You pay based on the lift. It's the idea of performance pricing is not unique. We certainly didn't come up with it, but in the context of CRO companies, it's very different, because all the way on one end, you have I would call it like legacy CRO agencies. By the way, there's a lot of really good ones.
Yeah.
They're pure service businesses. And so most of the time, if you get the principal, things are going to go pretty well. They're going to go good. If you don't get the principal, they may not. Second, usually what you're getting is best practices based on what has worked for their galaxy of customers. And by the way, some of the big ones have a lot of customers. But that number is finite and it grows a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. The difference with Spiralyze is you have this data set that's growing bigger every single day. Every night we're crawling the internet, finding new winning tests. And so what recommends the test is not what test Sahil thinks you should run. It's what the prediction engine suggests. Now, there are human beings absolutely part of it. I don't think CRO is at a place where you can subtract human beings from the equation. Someday maybe we'll get there. It's not where we are today. Now, on the other hand, you have also some really good self-serve tools. VWO, Optimizely, A/B Tasty. By the way, A/B Tasty and VWO just sorry, they didn't merge. Well, VWO bought A/B Tasty, so it was an acquisition. There are a bunch of other self-serve companies, and they're really good. In fact, we partner with some of them. They are really good, but they won't tell you which test to run either. And they certainly aren't going to guarantee their fees or say, oh, only pay us if you get the lift. They're SaaS businesses. By the way, before I ran Spiralyze, I ran a pure SaaS business for 10 years. That's the business model. It's a really good business model.
Yeah.
So those are the two choices. The third choice that we're able to offer our customers is you get the best of both worlds. We have a software product called Spirometrics. That's the prediction engine. We have a service component that looks and feels like an agency. You get both of them through us. By the way, sometimes we're trying, they don't realize that we're an agency. They come to us for the prediction engine.
But can you also get it separately, or it's still a package deal?
It's a package deal. The best value is when you both things together, the prediction engine with the full service team. And that's what allows us to say, only pay if you get the lift.
Yeah, understandable. But what do you feel like? What companies are still getting wrong? Like you can see that some patterns that companies still keep making, but it's never going to win. Some
what do they
best
get wrong?
But reality is different.
What do they get wrong? Well, let me first say, I think there's a group of companies that regularly run A/B tests. And if they get something wrong, it's really no big deal because they're going to test their way out of what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of continuous testing, is that the risk of calling the wrong winner is very, very low. Because if let's say you do it, you pick the wrong winner, the next test will probably beat it.
Yeah.
So pretty low risk. So I sometimes see very, very impressive companies, and I look at their page and I go, how did they get that? And I know that they're testing. And usually what happens is I go back a few weeks later and they've tested out of it.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Pretty low risk. On the other hand, most B2B companies do not test. Our estimate says maybe 20% of B2B SaaS companies are regularly doing A/B tests. And even the ones that do test, they run about one test a month. So those are the ones that I worry about. I think, Marcus, what you asked was, well, what are some of the kind of the CRO crimes that they commit? Yeah. I'll give you three. One is using stock photos on the homepage. Number two is poor skimmability. Number three is using video in the wrong place. So
yeah, we
number
have also
one,
tested the video, and it can be quite bad for conversion if it's in the wrong place.
Yes, yeah, in the wrong place. But that last thing is really important, in the wrong place, because video can work really well in the right place. In the wrong place, it cannibalizes conversions. Let's start with the first one, stock photos. I don't know why in 2026 companies are still using stock photos instead of showing the product. The data consistently shows happy people hurt conversions. And they cost you about 19% of your conversions. We know this because when we've tested showing, quote, happy person, stock photo, someone like looking at their phone, holding a laptop. By the way, why do they always hold their laptops with one hand and type with the other? No human being uses a laptop like this. Like, that defeats the purpose of a laptop. Or two people looking at a laptop like this. Like, what is so interesting on this laptop? Okay. When we run that, when we test that against just showing a simple static image of the product, on average, 19% higher conversion rate. It's amazing. Double-digit higher conversion rate.
Especially in hero section where you have one chance, many people don't even scroll down, and you don't even show the product on the hero.
Now, the thing that I like to do, by the way, everyone at home can do this. They don't need an A/B testing tool. They don't need to hire a CRO agency. They can do this today. If you're listening, it's called the 1-second test. take your website, take the homepage, right click, do this in a Google, like a Chrome browser, right click and choose Google Translate. And translate everything on your homepage, all the copywriting, into another language, preferably a language that no one around you speaks. So, if you're here in America, to choose Arabic or Urdu or Hindi. But I'm picking some languages that my family speaks at home. Okay, but whatever it is, and then go to like 5 people that they know you, but they don't know you well. Okay, don't go to like someone that works in the company. Go to someone just kind of an acquaintance and just show them the homepage and just say, what do you think this company does?
Yeah.
By removing the copywriting from the equation, you force them to just rely on the imagery. And the reason it's called the 1 second test is because your brain processes images in about 1 second, much faster than it processes words. And that is what your audience does when they get to your homepage. They're not looking at it like it's the Dead Sea Scrolls. They're quickly like, what is this thing? What do they do? Is this relevant to me? And their brain is making some snap judgments. So if you rely too heavily on the copywriting, you're going to fail that test.
Yeah,
and
that's
if you
quite
have
useful and
yeah,
easy trick to do
easy,
on your own page
everyone can
and
do
on
it.
other pages even. Yeah.
Everyone can do it. And guess what? If you got that stock photo of someone sitting in a conference room like this, no one's going to get it right because they'll be like, I don't know, what do they sell? Sweaters? What do they sell? Conference room tables?
Yeah.
And if you show the product, now here's the thing. They're not going to say something like, they sell CRM software for SMBs primarily in EMEA. Okay, no one's going to say that. Okay, what they will say is something like, oh, it looks like software, or it looks like some kind of business software. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe if they live in the world that you and I live in, they might say, oh, it looks like some kind of, I don't know. They might know the phrase CRM, or they might say some kind of project management. I'm thinking if I was looking at the pipe drive, that's, you're not trying to get them to say precisely what it is. You just want them to be I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place. Yeah, I think like you go to a restaurant. When you walk in the door, your brain makes snap judgments about, am I in a fancy restaurant? Is this a steakhouse? Or am I in a fast food? Right? You don't have to look at the menu to see, hey, it's white tablecloth, nice atmosphere, soft music. The maitre d' comes out in a, nice. You just, hey, I haven't even looked at the menu, but this is a fancy place. You go into a fast food, it's a very different, it's like plastic chairs and there's lines and people probably ordering off a kiosk and there's a dollar menu. You don't have to look at what it is to know it's fast food. That's what you're looking to deliver. And when you use stock photos and you just rely on the copywriting, you hurt yourself.
Yeah, missed opportunity. But same time, like, have you seen some patterns that are constantly winning? That whenever companies are testing those things, there's always like any universal truths, or it's always more. It depends.
Well,
Every company is different, but maybe there's something.
I mean, I would say, for example, if you take what we were just talking about, showing the product is as close to a universal truth as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are a lot of different ways to execute it.
But in
You
general,
can,
it
yeah,
cannot
in
be
general. And by the way,
easily.
it's true.
Yeah.
You don't have to be B2B SaaS company. If you're we ran this test for a company that does air conditioning repair. And in the original, they showed a mom with her 2 kids. Okay. Presumably the happy parent that got their air conditioning working. Maybe. I wasn't quite sure what it meant. And then in the variant, it showed 3 people from the air conditioning company in uniforms standing in front of their van, and the van clearly had the logo of the company. That is the product, by the way. Why do you call an air conditioning repair? Because your air conditioner is broken and they're sending an expert out to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The variant beat the control because it showed the product. So I would say, yes, there is a universal truth. Showing the product has a high likelihood of getting you more conversions. The way you execute it is very specific to the circumstance and your offer. And, I've seen some companies where, an animated GIF performs really well. I've seen some where it does not.
Yeah.
I've seen some where video is cannibalizing conversions. If you look at enough A/B tests, you could find one where video wins. Nothing wins all the time.
Yeah. I think there's so many different factors and it depends on the company, audience. Yeah.
Yep. Now, the second thing you asked me, what's another big mistake companies make all the time, is they have a great ad, like a search engine, pay-per-click ad. Might be on LinkedIn, might be on Google search. And then what's in the ad, which we call the hook, it actually gets the
Yeah.
person to click. And then they get to a landing page and it's a totally different hook. That's a cat food ad, dog food landing page.
Two different experiences.
Two different experiences. The hook is all about fast implementation. The landing page is all about ease of use. Right? If you promise one thing, you should immediately follow through on that promise on the landing page, right at the top of the page. We call that the hook, the mirror, and the ladder. Right? So you start with a hook on your ad. You want to mirror that hook on the landing page, and you want to ladder it up as high up on the page as possible.
Yeah. But this already brings me to one idea, like how do you see personalization working out? Because this is good candidate for personalization, not even like A/B test.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Let's talk about personalization. I think so. One, because it means a lot of things. I think one
Yeah.
form of personalization is you show. I think the broad promise of personalization is you show your audience something that matters, is most relevant to them.
Yeah.
And I think the idea has its roots, I think, in direct to consumer, where someone, let's say, walks into a store. You want to tell them something that they care about. Oh, what can I help you find today? Oh, I'm looking for a jacket. Okay, let's go over, take a look at the jackets. That is the central premise of personalization, is let me show you something that moves you along the journey based on what you care about, not what I care about, what you as my audience care about. So I think in that sense, if you have the ability, and there's some really nice software tools out there, to take the ad and dynamically insert, the headline on the ad. Let's say it's a fast implementation for CRM software. Okay, get live in a week. And maybe you're running 3 different ads with that copy variations. You put that in the headline of the landing page. I think that could work really well.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, where I think personalization maybe has been oversold is that you should personalize like every part of your landing page for every persona. Maybe just there's a balance there first. When you add complexity, everything gets harder.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Suddenly
worth
it's
it.
not scalable anymore and it causes more issues and problems.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth it. It's also like, how do you, in B2B, you run into this issue where you have, if you have a small sample size, how do you know it's working?
Yeah.
And so when you personalize, let's say you have 5 personas that come to your website that are in your ICP, what marketers call ideal customer profile. And you say, okay, we have 5 personas coming. Let's show 5 different headlines on our homepage. And you get these really small segments. By the way, you always have to have a 6th, because if you don't know who the person is, you got to have a fallback option.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that maybe if you have 5 really different personas, it works, but you also have these really small sample sizes.
Plus, there might be many cases where like actually not personalized option can outperform all of those personalized options. So
Yep.
and life is
Yeah.
way easier then.
So I'm make clear. I'm not saying don't do personalization or that it's bad. Here's what I found. Most websites in B2B SaaS have low-hanging fruit that you can solve without doing personalization.
Mm-hmm.
Once you do that and you've exhausted this low-hanging fruit, Personalization can usually get you another somewhere between 7 to 9% conversion rate.
Yeah.
But if you go there first, you're doing things out of order. Doing things
It
out of
shouldn't
order.
be the first. Yeah.
It's not showing me the first. And here's the thing: it's very sexy. It's very glamorous. Like, oh, we're gonna personalize. We're gonna personalize every step of the user journey. It's like, okay, you should do that, but you should fix some fundamental things. I think of it as just if you if you're out of shape and you want to get in shape, you call a personal trainer. The first things that trainer is going to have you work on is, okay, let's get you running 3 times a week. Let's get you, how many push-ups can you do? 5? Okay, let's see if we can get you to 8. Do 8? Let's do 10. Okay. What does your diet look like? Oh, boy, you're eating French fries every day with dinner. Let's take out the French fries. Now, you do all those things. Most people, they're going to shed a little weight. They're going to improve their cardio. They're going to do 10 push-ups. Then they start working on some, like, okay, let's fine tune your diet. Let's get you more kind of protein rich. Oh, let's work on specific muscle groups. Okay.
Yeah.
But you start there and you can't do 5 push-ups. You're not starting in the right place.
Yeah, that's a good example. But let's go to the future a little bit. What do you think where CRO as in industry is heading, even like with AI? Is like more hype? Can you find it useful already? What do you feel like 1, 2, 3 years?
Well, okay, AI is here for
Yep.
sure, and it's already had an impact on CRO. Where is it going to be? I think the dream is AI will optimize your landing pages. It'll make decisions about which test to run. It may even simulate the tests, and using synthetic data give you a winner. And there's some tools that are there or get close to there, and I think I've seen 1 or 2, and I think they're pretty cool. I think broadly, the broad market is not there yet, at least not in B2B. Because in CRO, one part of the equation is which test should I run? One part of the equation is let me interpret the data and pick a winner. Now, the reality is in B2B, those 2 components are like this part of CRO, and there's all these other parts. And I think AI has made some progress on those 2 things. How do you convince your legal team to approve the copywriting that you're now putting on the homepage? How do you sell your CEO to do this message test when he or she just got back from a board meeting and the board told them to do the opposite? How do you tell your brand team that wants to put video on every landing page that is probably going to cannibalize conversions?
Yeah.
AI, I think, but I think it can help you with some of that because it can provide you with useful data. But there isn't yet, I haven't seen an AI that you can say, hey, Claude, go persuade my CEO that what the board told him was wrong.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. Maybe
there's always
AI will
human
be
in the
that
loop.
good.
Human in the loop who is always helping to, make
Human in the
decisions.
loop, human in the loop. But here's the thing: I think that human in the loop almost does it a disservice because it suggests that what you need is just a human to intervene. By the way, maybe that's right. I think I come back to there are timeless marketing principles. And as long as those principles have existed, they go back to the, I don't know, Martin Luther posting on people's doors. What was that? That was marketing.
Yep.
That was marketing. I don't think that was like human in the loop. I think those timeless principles are there. And as long as there's been there's technology that helps you.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, human
Could
it a lot
Martin
more
Luther?
indicates that, you know, human is slowing down the process and wants to control it, but it's part of the package at the end.
Yeah, I do. I'm aware that, you know, where I am in kind of my career and my age, I'm not old, but I'm not up and coming. I could be wrong. I could be biased. Maybe I'm biased by the way kind of the industry that I grew up in, and maybe I just can't see it. I could
We can do
be.
another episode in 3 years and then we can
Yeah.
see, you know,
I don't think you
and
need to
correct
wait
us.
3 years. I think you can wait 3 months. I mean, here's the thing. I'm wrong all the time. I'm wrong about so many things. I guess I would come back to all of these things. You should run lots of tests. If you continually test your ideas, and I'm talking outside of website optimization, but if you continually test your ideas, the risk of picking the wrong winner goes way down because the next test will beat it. So I could be
Yeah.
wrong about that. Maybe human loop is the right way to describe it. Maybe there is an AI agent that I can deploy to my organization that can do stakeholder engagement. Maybe when everyone has their own AI avatar, we can just let the bots talk to each other, and then they'll come back with an answer. Maybe.
Fun times. Fun times. Cool. Before we go to some wrap-up questions, I have like one section that I want to have in each of my podcasts is things nobody says out loud. Could
Ha
you,
ha ha.
what would you say? Like, what is something that everybody thinks in your industry, but nobody really dares to say out loud those things? Anything
I
you
don't
would?
know about everyone. No one says them out loud because I say them out loud. But here's some things that everyone says. First, you should only test one change on a web page at a time. What a load of shit. First of all, you do that, you're going to be here till the end of time trying to find a winning test. Why? Because your minimal detectable effect, your MDE, just to geek out on CRO, is going to be so low. Now, look, if you're booking.com or lending tree and you get like millions of visits and you want to test the corner radius of your CTA button, you probably can do it. But in B2B, you can't do that. So I hear all the time, like, oh, we don't have the traffic to test. It's usually because you're running meek tests, little trivial things that don't move the needle. Okay? Now, I wouldn't change so many things that you can't compare the control and the variant. I wouldn't compare anyway. Just let's stop there. Right? This whole nonsense of like, well, I'm going to change the color of the button, and I can be exactly sure that that worked or didn't work. You're not wrong, but what business objective did you just accomplish? Okay? I call these people the purity priests. They drive me nuts. Okay. Um, that's the first thing. And probably though, I mean, I think that whole argument does more harm to CRO than it helps, because let's say you rearrange your hero section so that the form is above the hero, which allows you to bring the social proof above the fold, which makes your headline more credible. All of those things work together. Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
you changed
they're
3 things.
supporting each other.
Yeah. How do you know which of those 3 did it? I'll be the first to say, well, you can estimate it. You don't know definitively, but they all 3 work together. The test has to be coherent. There is a passive coherence. If you're just changing a bunch of random shit, I'd agree with you. It doesn't work. But if it works, number 1, isn't that what you care about? Number 2, let's say you're wrong and you just changed a bunch of random stuff. The next test or the test after that will beat it because it wasn't a true winner.
Yeah.
Right? When you continually test, you lower the risk of calling the wrong winner. So that's my other counterpoint. Now, you know, the the arguments of like, well, I want to be sure that it worked or didn't work. I mean, I come back to like, let's go back to the metaphor of you want to get in shape. You probably need to do a little bit of cardio. You probably need to do some push-ups, work on the upper body strength. You probably got to eat fewer French fries, more healthy protein, and some broccoli.
Package some things together that make sense together.
Yeah. Now, could you try each of those at a time? I'll do 1 month of just push-ups, 1 month of just cardio, 1 month of diet. Sure. And then you could actually measure, well, what is the incremental benefit of replacing French fries with broccoli? Okay. But if you have a race, yeah, dude, first of all, if let's say you're training for a half marathon, what matters is, did you get to a better time on your half marathon? You got to do all those things. That's a business, to me, that's the business objective. So I think CRO that's myopically focused without thinking about the business objectives, I think is a waste of time.
Yep. That's good. That's a good point, actually.
There
I
you
agree
go.
with that one. So
there you go.
lots of
people disagree with that one, but
we'll see in the comments later if it made somebody angry or not.
Oh, it's so predictable. That's okay. I can take it. I'm a grown-up.
Yeah. Cool. And maybe a couple of wrap-up questions. What do you think? One thing you would suggest to fix on somebody's website tomorrow? Like, what's the number one suggestion you would give?
Well,
in addition to stock photos.
And the stock photos, or let me zoom out, even from no stock photos would just be like that 1 second test. Like, I think that's a good way from number 2 is skimmability. In B2B, for some reason, we love to talk about ourselves, and we love even more to write about ourselves. Long walls of text. Sometimes I think, are we paying our product marketers by the word? Charles Dickens got paid by the word. His stories came out in newspaper serials, and he got paid by the word, which is one reason the stories are really, really long.
But he didn't have a SaaS website, so.
That's right. So, yeah, are we paying our product marketers by the word? I just skimmability. You're not writing to impress your 12th grade English teacher. You're writing to. It's a very specific skill, which is short form copywriting on a small screen.
Yeah. Good. Something you change your mind about after seeing data. Basically, something where you were wrong and data proved that.
There's dude, where do we start? How much time you got? Okay, I'll give you 2. One is that the page that looks the best should win. I've seen some ugly pages.
Winning websites.
I've even seen things that we did. It looks amazing. Doesn't convert. Number 2, I will tell you, I have changed my mind a bit about the role that brand and brand positioning plays on the homepage. I definitely, if you had asked me, I don't know, a year ago, I was much more like, give me a quantitative headline that delivers a specific benefit-oriented claim to the audience, and cut all the other shit out of there. I have changed my tune a bit, where I think on things like the homepage, we're not talking about like paid landing pages or squeeze pages, but on the homepage, sometimes part of what you're trying to do is tell a story. And you might be trying to move the company from here to here. You might be trying to explain how you're different than someone else. And yeah, I think that the promise of the brand has a bigger role to play than I used to think. And by that can't always be captured by A/B tests.
Yeah. True. Last question. What should teams stop basically wasting time when it comes to experimentation? Like, part of the process, something that doesn't really make sense?
You know what? Stop spending hours and hours writing a brief to convince everyone to run the test. The time you spend on that, just run the test. And often, in 2 or 3 days, if the test isn't winning, you kill the test and you move on to the next. But I think all of us treating every proposed test as if we were, writing a doctoral dissertation is just a giant waste of time. Now,
just test it out and data will
yeah,
show.
test it out. Look, they should be reasonably well thought. Don't do dumb stuff. Don't do something that's gonna, diminish your brand or is gonna offend people.
Yeah.
Um, but I think especially like if you're testing on landing pages, like just you should run lots of tests. I don't know, take an hour to write it up. Say we're doing this, this, and this. This is here what we think, and then run the test. But I have seen organizations that spend days or weeks just on the brief to propose that they haven't even built the test, just on this, and then they circulate it and they get feedback, and suddenly now product wants to weigh in and brand wants to weigh in, and HR, why is HR weighing in? Legal wants to weigh in. Come on, and it's you're gonna committee the thing to death.
Yeah. That's a good way to end the episode, because I agree with this 100%. That's how we are trying to run it also inside of my team, because I think that's the best way. Just let's
Yep.
get some good stuff done and let's test it fast, and then we know.
Yeah, and by the way, I would couple that flip side of the same coin is the fallacy of asking, what did we learn from this test? It didn't win, but what did we learn? Most of the time, what you learned is the test didn't beat the control. Run on the next test. Now, if you do a specific like vein of testing, let's say you test social proof on 10 different pages on your website, and certain types of social proof consistently win more than others. Let's say testimonials beat trust badges like G2. I'm not saying they do, just say that, but if
Yeah.
they did. Okay, you run 10 tests, maybe you've learned a few things about what resonates with your audience. But most of the time, the quote learning from one test or even a few tests is that your audience, the audience that was exposed to that test during this time period, found it more favorable than the alternate, and that's it. You should run the next test.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sahil.
Marcus, this was
That
great.
was a pleasure. Love the insights. Love the snippets you shared. It was a pleasure to chat with you. Everybody who is watching this, make sure to follow Sahil in LinkedIn. He's sharing some really good stuff. You're making some really good videos there. Everybody should definitely check those out. And if you enjoyed the episode, you know the drill. Thank you very much. Until next time.
Thank
Sahil.
you for having me, Marcus. See you next time.
See you.